congruence. There are going to be 4 algebra questions. Real quickly, what do I mean by algebra questions? I may give you a diagram that looks like this. I'll tell you the lines are parallel. I'll say this is 3x minus 6. This is 2x, I don't know, plus 10. Find x, find this angle, find that angle, find the angle next to it, right? Something like that, where you have to realize that those are corresponding. So I need to set up that equation and solve for x. Okay, so there's going to be 4 of those on there. Also, take a look, you got to provide a theorem. So if you did this problem, parallel lines imply, what type of angles do I have up here? These are corresponding. So parallel lines imply corresponding angles congruent. So that's what I'd be looking for, a justification. 5 multiple choice, MC stands for multiple choice. And there's going to be 2 proofs. One where I give you parallel lines, prove a pair of angles are congruent, and ones we just went over on homework. And we're going to do both kinds together today before I let you go on your own. If you add these up, there's only, let's see, 9, 10, 11. There they are. All right, so that's tomorrow's quiz. 4 algebra, 5 multiple choice, and 2 proofs at the end. Anything before we go over both types of proofs that will be on there? I will be after school today if you want to come by. There's a whole bunch of review in your packet, and that's the only review I have for you, because usually we don't review for a quiz, but we are going to do it this time. So I need you guys to go in your packet to the review, and we are going to do first proof number 19. Find proof number 19 for me. And get your statements and reasons all written down. Mark your diagram with arrows. You can have double arrows on one set of the parallel lines. So this type of proof is what I refer to as given parallel lines. Okay, so there'll be one type here, given parallel lines. All right, we're in charge of getting 1 congruent to 16. 1 congruent to 16. If you lightly, like we did on Friday, lightly highlight how angle 1 is made and lightly highlight how angle 16 is made. So are you guys highlighting any lines that are in common between both? You are not. So this is not going to be a 2-step proof. They have no relation. Don't tell me they're corresponding, same side or alternate. If they do not share a line, a transversal, they have no relationship. No 2-step proof here. So we're going to have to get them congruent some other way than saying they're corresponding, same side or alternate. Why don't we start here? Start with one of the angles in the diagram, angle 1 or 16, and tell me something true about one of them right now. You can pick either one. We're going to have to talk about both eventually. So talk about angle 1 or angle 16. Give me something it's congruent to, and we will move on from there, because there's a bunch of different ways we could do this proof. So I'll give you a second. Tell me something about angle 1. Tell me something about angle 16, because these lines are parallel. Get something in your mind about angle 1 or angle 16 here. And I'm not going to accept vertical angles, so get that out. All right, I want something like corresponding, alternate, same side. Okay, get the vertical angles out of there. That's going to take us forever. So 1 and whatever, 16 and whatever. Give me something that's related up here. Go ahead, Jane.
Angle 1 and angle 14 are alternate exterior.
Angle 1, and that they are. So that makes them which one? Congruent or supplementary?
Congruent.
Congruent. So angle 1, congruent to angle 14. Now, if I called on somebody else, they may have given me a different pair. Maybe somebody would have gave me 1 and 3 because they're corresponding. Fine. That's fine. Maybe somebody would have gave me 1 and 8 because they're corresponding. I mean, they're alternate exterior. Fine. No big deal. What did you call 1 and 14 again, James? Parallel lines imply What type of angles were they, Jane? Sorry.
Alternate exterior.
So alternate exterior angles congruent. All right, Jane got us something about angle 1. How about something about angle 16 now? And hey, why don't we try to use something that we've already used instead of just busting out a brand new angle? All right, I got angle 1 down. How about angle 16 now? Angle 16. Anything you want to tell me about angle 16? Here we go. Ones. We got to need a new one here. 20. I'm getting there. Alex? Anything about angle 16?
Angle 16 equals angle 8.
It does. And I could write that down, but hey, we're already talking about this is what I'm talking about. I'm glad you did that because you're not wrong. He's not wrong, right? He's not wrong, but we're introducing another angle now. Now we're introducing 4 angles, all right? How about we just stick to angle 1, 16, and 14? So anything between 16 and 14.
14 is equal to 16.
Yep. There you go. So 14 is congruent to 16. And look, he writes down tomorrow that the angles he gave me, it's fine. It's just going to be harder and longer to connect them. All right. Try to introduce the least amount of angles as possible. What type of angles were they?
Corresponding.
Good. Corresponding. Angles congruent. Perfect. And this is why. Yes, Sally. Okay, just get up and leave whenever you need to. 1 congruent to 14, 14. This is why I want to introduce as least as possible. Now take a look. Don't introduce any more angles. Take a look at the 2 steps we just wrote. 1 equals 14, 14 equals 16. Put the 2 together, and now what 2 angles are equal now? Shum, Lola?
14, or wait, 1 and 16.
What? Because what'd you just apply there?
That they're both congruent to the same angle, so they can apply as well.
So in a nutshell, you're telling me substitution?
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Good. Again, does everyone see? We could have done this a bunch of different ways. All right, I called on Jane first, and she gave me 1 congruent to 14, so that's where we started. We could have started another pair of angles too. Questions on this one? So that's what I mean tomorrow. One of the proofs will be given parallel lines. Prove a pair of angles congruent, and I can tell you it's not going to be 2 steps. All good. Okay, next one I want to do and final one I want to do with you is given or prove parallel lines. So let's go to 22. Okay, here we go. We got to prove A parallel to B. Now, look, I didn't put one of those big boxes there like you had on homework, but you may want to write something next to A parallel to B. What angles need to be congruent first? So let's make a decision as a class. If A is parallel to B, what 2 angles need to be congruent first? Let's just pick a pair and let's try to do it. All right, there's a couple different answers you could give me. So if A is parallel to B, what 2 angles would need to be proven congruent? Remember, the 2 angles you pick should be on A, should be on B, and have a common line between them. Cadence, we have angle 5. All right, let's just check right now. Angle 5 and angle 7. They have B in common, right? And then the other 2 would be L and M. What do I want parallel? A and B. Right? Do you see if you picked 5 and 7, they're on L and M. So I I have that, so I might need that to be congruent, but not for A parallel to B. See what I mean there? Okay, because they're on L and M. So I need a new set of angles here. Jack?
1 and 5.
One, let's see, let me just check. 1, 5. That has L in common, and my parallel lines would be A and B. All right, so hopefully it's doable. If you guys can help me get 1 congruent to 5, we have parallel lines. And remember, remember, they're not congruent because they're corresponding. We need the lines to be parallel, which we don't have. So you guys need addition, substitution, subtraction, something to get 1 congruent to 5. All right. So how do I get 1 congruent to 5 without saying they are corresponding? Well, I already have 1 and 7. Right? I already have 1 and 7, and I gave you a set of parallel lines, M and N. I might be going back to what Kate said earlier. Are there any angles up here that are congruent because L is parallel to M? And remember, we need 1 and 5 congruent. We got them.
Angle 5 and angle 7.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to 5 and 7. They're congruent. 5's congruent to 7. What type of angles are they, Evan? Good. Corresponding angles congruent. Remember, I need 1 and 5. Can I get it yet? Look in your givens. Look at what we just wrote. We already had in givens 1 congruent to 7, and now we have 5 congruent to 7. Any angles congruent now? Nick?
1 and 5.
Yep, because of what? Substitution. And those are the 2 that we selected. So we got them congruent, which means now lines are parallel. I'm going to ask somebody for the Y here, though. Before we write it down, Jack, you gave them to me. What type of angles were they?
Corresponding.
So I have now corresponding angles congruent and apply parallel lines. Maybe could have did it differently. I'm not too sure, but this is a good one. So 1 proof like that. All right, so now you know the 2 different types of proofs that'll be on there. Get out your Chromebooks, please. Open up to the answer key to all these questions. All right, you're looking for day 4 on Classroom, day 4. Just want to make sure everyone can locate it before I let you go. I'm just going to shut down some of the computer, making sure we're not on different sites. There we go. Okay, everyone's got access to it. All right, that is the rest of the time today, is to get going on the review. There's plenty of questions. Also, I will be checking this tomorrow. You'll see in Aspen that this is a homework assignment that I will be checking, even though you have the answer key right there. All right, so I'll be checking this and answering questions before I hand out the quiz tomorrow. All right, so again, this is a 3-point homework assignment. I'll check tomorrow. I know there's not much space to move around, but if you do want to move around and work with other people, that's fine.